I want to talk to you guys about perspective. I was talking to somebody yesterday and we were on the topic of perspective and how sometimes we can get stuck in our own way of thinking and we are so bound and determined to be right that we make ourselves angry, frustrated, and we just want to shake the other person like, no, I am not doing things that way. And I was looking out my window I have this pretty little fence post, and it's like one of my favorite places because the sun always comes up on that side. So like the sun's coming up right now and I'm looking at this fence post, and I have a gift to make things simple or to make my mind figure out what it is the person's talking about. Like, how can I relate it back to me so it makes sense? I feel like a lot of personal development does this, where they talk really big and they talk about the brain and emotions and the actual dictionary term for them. And I do enjoy learning new words and I understand the big words, but honestly, I have a hard time pronouncing some of those things because, excuse me, my mind goes so fast that it's almost like it comes out as gibberish. So I have to always simplify things for myself, and I have to put things into analogies, and I have to make a story out of it because stories are what stick to me. And so we're sitting here, we're talking about different perspectives. And this was yesterday. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I'm just sitting down to do my morning routine and I want to podcast about something. What am I going to podcast about? And I usually just pick the first thing that comes to mind, and then that's what you guys get. You just get like real in-time thoughts. So I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this fence post, and I'm like, she sees things head on. I'm looking at things head on. If we took a picture of this fence post, there's probably 360 different ways that we could view this fence post, that we just all have different perspectives. And then if you start to think, well, what if somebody's viewing it from the top? It probably looks much different than if somebody's viewing it from the bottom, or if somebody's viewing it from the left, or if somebody's viewing it from the right, or if you're viewing it first thing in the morning, or if you're viewing it right at the end of the day. Probably looks different at high noon versus midnight. And that's when it really clicked with me, and maybe with you guys too. Sometimes we get so stuck on, I'm staring at this fence post straight ahead, and I am not budging because my way is the right way. This is how you're supposed to look at this fence post. But if you just took a step to the left and been like, oh, okay, well, I guess I do like this view better. Now I see your point. Or if you take a step to the right and you do the same thing and you're like, this is interesting. I'm starting to learn how other people think too. I'm learning more about myself by becoming more aware of other people's perspectives. I don't have to agree with it, but now I know what you mean. And now I'm not as angry. I'm not as frustrated. And I do see that there's, just in the last minute, I've taken a step left and I've taken a step right. And I can see how you both have a good point. Maybe the three of us, left, right, and center, can come together and have common ground or have a common solution, or maybe just let go of the anger and resentment and say, hey, we see things from each other's perspectives. Maybe we all look from the top. Let's all take a step forward and look down. And we can all agree that this is the best view. However that looks in your life. If you find that you are struggling with your spouse, this is something that happens to me frequently. Me and my husband have a pretty great relationship. It's been challenging this last couple of months because of everything that's going on in the world. So our time together is little to none just because of working from home, and he is working, I think if you guys have been listening for a while, he's been doing basically like double shifts. And it sucks. It sucks a lot. And I find myself getting angry because as soon as he gets home, I want to just be like, take the children before I kill them, and his perspective, he comes in the door and he wants to relax too because he's been working all day and I should give him the time and the space to do this, and he should do this and I should do this and he should do that. And we're both finger pointing. When if we just took a second and said like, okay, I see what you mean now. How about you go take your 10 minutes by yourself? I'll go take my 10 minutes by myself. And then we'll come back together as a team and get the kids fed and bathed and ready for bed. And then we'll move on with our evening. But we get stuck in our own way. Not just me and my husband. We as people get stuck in our own way because our desire to be right sometimes will outweigh the desire to see things from another perspective. We want to hang on to that anger because we can feel it. When we are dead inside or when we're lacking passion and joy, we hang on to any emotion. If you want to be angry, you're like, yes, I'm angry. I'm so mad. Because you're like, I don't know what it's like to experience alignment. I don't know what it's like to experience joy or happiness. So you hang on to those emotions so that you can feel human. It's the same thing with kids, guys. They grasp at anything that they can get attention for. So if you aren't giving your children attention for the good things and the bad things, because let's be honest, they both need attention, different kinds of attention. But if you're just like, oh yeah, look at that color. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, you're sliding. Oh, okay. You're just half-ass paying attention. You're not really giving them any attention. But when they do something naughty, you stop what you're doing, you rush over there, you're talking to them, you're hanging on to them, you're in their face, you're holding them, you're putting them somewhere, you're giving them 100% of your attention. And then we wonder why our kids are naughty. They get 25% of our attention if they do something well or something fun. And they get 100% of our attention if they do something naughty or something they are not supposed to do. It's all about perspective. All about perspective. And when you can start to put yourself in someone else's shoes, it brings a new level of self-awareness and awareness in general. And it brings a sense of freedom. It brings a sense of joy. It brings a sense of calm to any situation when you can sit there and say, let's have a conversation about this. And ask more questions. Why do you think that this is a better way? Why do you like this perspective? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Can you explain to me how you came to that conclusion? Sometimes if we just ask more questions, we can minimize a lot of arguing, a lot of hurt, a lot of those lower vibrating energies, emotions, if we just ask more questions. So get out of your own head, stop letting your ego take control of your life, and just say, okay, why am I experiencing this? Why am I feeling this way? How can I see things from a different perspective? And sometimes it's as simple as taking a step to the left or taking a step to the right. And that is what I want to leave you with. Have a fabulous day, and I hope you can see things from a different perspective today.